everyone, this is Andrea from the Art and Nature Center, and for today's project I'm going to show you a couple different processes for creating moss graffiti. Now this project is in celebration for the summer solstice, the longest day on the northern hemisphere, so I thought a great way to celebrate was to get outside and connect with the earth by using earth to create with. So I used a pencil and a ruler to just draw out some lines, and I'm going to go every other one with my moss. I'm using just a generic super glue. It doesn't matter what super glue you use. You basically just need a glue that is not water soluble, so it's not going to be washed away. So what we're doing is gluing down a layer of cotton. So I'm using cotton balls, just kind of unraveling them and sticking them down to the glue. Alright, so now that we've let the cotton and glue kind of set, the next step is we want to wet all of the cotton. So I just have a spray bottle filled with water, and I'm just going to give it all a nice spray. And we're going to make a pretty pasty soil mixture. There's no specific ratio, it depends on how much you need, so you just want like a really pasty consistency. Something else we're going to add is a little bit of fertilizer. It can be liquid or dry, you just want a little bit in there. And I just have a baggie with some cornstarch, I didn't want to take all of it outside. Have a pretty good kind of mud pie consistency. So with my potting spade and my hands, I'm gonna just layer this on top of my cotton. Not too thick, but you want to cover all of the cotton. Now we're going to add our strips of moss. You can either rip the moss apart or cut it. If you need sharp edges for some things, I'm just going to eyeball. I like to also wet the bottom of my moss. And so this is the final step in creating it. So once you have it all attached this way, the cells and the roots of the moss are going to adhere to the soil and the cotton and continue to thrive. So you want to make sure that this doesn't dry out, and you water it daily like any plant that likes moisture. Alright, so I'll continue this process for my other strips and then water it and be able to hang my moss graffiti somewhere outside. So in the next process I'm going to show you is how to make and use moss paint to create moss graffiti. I have already a cup of water in my blender, and then I've already taken my moss and broken it into small pieces in my measuring cup. We want 3 cups of that. I'm using plain yogurt. You can either use that or use buttermilk. And I'm going to do 2 cups of that, and then a ½ teaspoon of sugar also. So, and I'm just kind of pushing it in there so it can absorb some of the water and hopefully not make a huge mess. But I've got my cover, and then I'm also going to cover it with a towel. Let me check out this moss shake. And I think I'm going to give it a few more pulses, but come right up. And that's kind of the consistency you want. Definitely not the prettiest smoothie, but there is our moss paint. The moss that's in my paint I actually pulled from this wooden railroad tie wall, so I've decided to do my moss art on it. The cells in moss can be moved and multiplied, but they like the environment that they originated in. With a piece of chalk, I drew out just a simple outline drawing. I decided to do a kind of cartoony sun, and just with my paintbrush, I'm gonna lay on a few thick layers where I want moss to hopefully grow. I'm not too concerned about the dripping. So the way I'm going to maintain this is I'm going to alternate for a couple weeks. I'm spraying it with just like a spray bottle of water, and then on the opposite days adding more moss paint to it for a couple weeks, and then after that just continue to water it. You can store your moss in the fridge for when you need to do those in-between day paintings. Hopefully, as long as I keep watering and adding the moss paint to it, within like 3 to 4 weeks, hopefully my moss will start to grow. Thank you for joining me, and please share your solstice moss art with us.